The mansion sits in Uccle, the wealthiest district of Brussels. 3 stories of white stone, surrounded by gardens that require 4 full-time groundskeepers, protected by walls topped with decorative iron spikes that are less decorative and more functional than they appear. Inside, crystal chandeliers imported from Austria hang in every major room. The floors are Italian marble. The art on the walls includes 2 authenticated Renoirs and a Monet that insurance companies value at figures with too many zeros. The man who owns all this is named Victor Duchamp, 62 years old. Made his fortune in diamond trading, expanded into real estate, now owns enough of Brussels that people joke the city should be renamed after him. He's been receiving threats for 3 months. Anonymous letters, phone calls with distorted voices, nothing concrete enough for police to act on, but specific enough that Victor takes them seriously. Specific enough that he needs protection. It's 9:00 a.m. on a Thursday morning, November 9th. The mansion's security office is in the basement. A converted wine cellar that now houses monitors showing feeds from 23 cameras positioned around the property. 4 men sit around a conference table. These are Victor's current security team. The head of security is named Laurent, 48 years old, former Belgian Special Forces, served 2 tours in Congo before retiring to private sector work. The other 3 are younger, 30s to early 40s, all with military or police backgrounds. Between them they represent over 60 years of professional protection experience. The door opens and Victor walks in, followed by a younger man who immediately draws attention for all the wrong reasons. He's in his early 20s, maybe 5'9", wearing tight jeans and a leather jacket that looks more appropriate for a motorcycle ride than a security job. His dark hair is styled in a way that suggests he spends time in front of mirrors. His build is athletic, but not particularly large, maybe 170, 175 pounds. He looks like he should be in a nightclub, not applying for a bodyguard position. Victor gestures to the young man. "Gentlemen, this is Jean-Claude Van Damme. He'll be joining the security team starting Monday." Laurent's expression doesn't change, but his eyes say everything. This is a joke. This has to be a joke. The other 3 exchange glances that range from confusion to barely suppressed amusement. "With respect, Monsieur Duchamp," Laurent says carefully, choosing his words, "we weren't consulted about this hiring decision. We have protocols, background checks, training assessments. Security work is specialized. It requires specific experience." "Jean-Claude comes highly recommended," Victor says. "He has extensive martial arts training, multiple disciplines, competition experience. I've seen footage of his tournament fights. He's very capable." "Martial arts tournaments," one of the other guards says, a guy named Bernard, who's 6'3" and weighs about 240. "That's sport. This is real security. Different world." Van Damme hasn't spoken yet. He stands near the door, hands in his jacket pockets, face neutral, not defensive, not aggressive, just present, watching, listening. Laurent stands, walks closer to Van Damme, evaluating him with professional eyes. "How old are you?" 23, Van Damme replies. His French carries a Brussels accent, working-class neighborhoods, not the polished tone of someone who grew up in Uccle. "Military experience?" "No." "Police training?" "No." "Private security certification?" "No." Laurent turns back to Victor. "Monsieur, I understand you like this young man, but security work isn't about fighting. It's about threat assessment, advanced planning, secure transportation, emergency protocols. You need someone who can think, not just punch." "I can think," Van Damme says quietly. Everyone turns to look at him. "I can also punch. Both are useful." Bernard laughs. "Not mean, just genuinely amused. Kid, you're what, 70 kilos? I've got 50 kilos on you. In a real situation, size matters. I could put you through that wall without breaking a sweat. Maybe, Van Damme says, still quiet, still calm. Want to test it? The room temperature drops 10 degrees. Laurent holds up a hand. Nobody's testing anything. Monsieur Duchamp has made his decision. Jean-Claude will join the team on Monday. We'll train him properly, teach him protocols, integrate him into operations. Victor shakes his head. Actually, Laurent, I think Bernard's suggestion is good. Test him, right now. If Jean-Claude can't handle himself against your team, then you're right, he's not qualified. If he can handle himself, then we move forward without any more doubts. Fair. Laurent looks uncomfortable. This is not how professional security works. You don't prove capability by fighting your own team. But Victor is the client. Victor pays six-figure salaries. Victor gets what Victor wants. What kind of test? Laurent asks. Simple, Victor says. Jean-Claude needs to prove he can protect me against multiple attackers. You four represent a threat. If he can prevent you from reaching me within, say, 30 seconds, he's proven his capability. If you can get past him, then I'll reconsider the hiring. Where do you want to be? Laurent asks. The entrance hall. Marble floor. Open space. I'll stand at the base of the staircase. Jean-Claude positions himself between me and the four of you. You try to get past him to reach me. Use whatever tactics you think appropriate, short of actually injuring anyone. Bernard grins. This is going to be quick. They move upstairs to the entrance hall. It's massive, 30 feet wide, 40 feet deep, a grand marble staircase curving up to the second floor. Victor positions himself at the bottom of the staircase. Van Damme walks to a spot about 15 feet away, center of the hall, equidistant from all approaches. The four security men spread out near the entrance, discussing strategy in low voices. Laurent is thinking tactically. They're professionals. They should treat this like a real scenario. Two men create distraction, draw Van Damme's attention, while the other two use the opening to rush past. Simple, effective, numbers advantage. Van Damme removes his leather jacket, folds it carefully, sets it on a decorative table near the wall. Under the jacket he's wearing a simple white t-shirt that shows his physique more clearly. Not bodybuilder mass, but defined muscle, the kind built from movement rather than weight rooms. He returns to his position, hands loose at his sides, weight balanced evenly on both feet. Ready when you are, he says. Laurent nods to his team. They advance in formation. Bernard and another guard named Mal move to Van Damme's left, spreading wide, pulling his attention in that direction. Laurent and the fourth guard, a younger guy named Thomas, angle right, preparing to rush the opening. It's a good plan. Against most single defenders, it would work. Numbers create opportunities. You can't watch everywhere at once, but the plan assumes Van Damme will react like most people. It assumes he'll commit to defending one direction, leaving the other vulnerable. Van Damme doesn't commit to either direction. When Bernard and Machel feint left, drawing his eyes that way, Laurent and Thomas rush right, moving fast, trying to blow past the empty side. They're big men, moving with professional speed, closing the 15 feet in under 3 seconds. Van Damme's body explodes sideways. Not a step, a leap, his leg sweeping out in a spinning kick that catches Laurent's center mass. The kick doesn't land full force. Van Damme pulls it at the last instant, but the impact is enough. Laurent's forward momentum stops immediately. He staggers backward, arms pinwheeling for balance. Before Thomas can adjust his trajectory, Van Damme has already landed from the spin, his other leg shooting out in a side kick that catches Thomas in the hip. Again controlled force, but Thomas's leg buckles. He drops to one knee, 7 seconds. Bernard and Mashal are rushing now, abandoning the feint, coming straight in. They're the larger two, the physical intimidators, the ones who solve problems with size. 240 pounds each, moving fast, arms extended to grab, to control, to use mass advantage. Van Damme doesn't try to meet them head-on. That would be stupid. Instead, he moves forward at an angle, toward Bernard, but not directly, closing distance at 45 degrees, slipping inside Bernard's reaching arms. Bernard tries to adjust, tries to grab, but Van Damme is already past his center line. A quick elbow strike to Bernard's ribs, pulled, controlled, but enough to send the message. Bernard grunts, turns to pursue. Michel is right behind, trying to capitalize, trying to grab Van Damme from behind while he's engaged with Bernard. The classic trap, pin him between two opponents. But Van Damme anticipated this. His leg sweeps backward without him even turning to look. A reverse kick that catches Michel in the midsection. Michel makes a sound like air leaving a tire, stops moving forward, bends slightly at the waist. 14 seconds. Laurent has recovered his balance. He's not rushing anymore. This isn't working the way it should. The kid is too fast, too precise, too aware of spatial positioning. Laurent signals Thomas with his eyes. They move together, approaching from two angles, trying to create a pincer that Van Damme can't escape. Van Damme sees it developing, doesn't panic, doesn't rush, waits until they're both committed, both closing, both convinced they've trapped him. Then he moves straight backward, toward Victor, maintaining the defensive line, but creating more space, more time to react. When Laurent lunges forward, trying to grab before Van Damme can retreat further, Van Damme's hand snaps out, a palm strike that catches Laurent's extended arm at the elbow, hyperextending it just enough to send pain signals, not enough to injure. Laurent pulls back, instinctively. Thomas tries to use the distraction, rushes past Van Damme's side, thinking he's got an opening to reach Victor. Van Damme's leg sweeps across, a low kick that takes Thomas's feet completely out from under him. Thomas goes down hard, slides across the polished marble, ends up on his back 6 feet away. 19 seconds. 4 professional bodyguards. 60 years of combined experience, all stopped. None have gotten past Van Damme, none have touched Victor. Bernard is holding his ribs. Michel is still trying to get his breath back. Laurent's arm is hurting. Thomas is on the floor wondering what just happened. Victor starts clapping slowly. I think we can call the test concluded. Laurent straightens up, professional pride competing with physical discomfort. He's fast, very fast, and his spatial awareness is exceptional. But monsieur, this was controlled, in a real situation. In a real situation, Van Damme interrupts quietly. Your size doesn't matter, your experience doesn't matter. What matters is whether you can stop the threat before it reaches the principal. That's the job. I just did the job. Bernard pushes off from the wall where he's been leaning. Okay, kid, you've got my attention, and you've got my respect. That kick to the ribs, I didn't even see it coming. Where'd you learn to move like that? Karate, kickboxing, ballet, Van Damme says, listing them like he's reading a grocery list. Karate for technique, kickboxing for power, ballet for movement and control. I've been training since I was 10 years old, competed in full contact tournaments, won most of them. Ballet, Bernard repeats, the word sounding strange coming from a man his size. You're serious? Ballet teaches body control better than any martial art, Van Damme says. Flexibility, balance, spatial awareness. Most fighters move like robots. Ballet teaches you to move like water. I recommend it. Michel, finally breathing normally again, manages a laugh. I'm not doing ballet, but I'll admit, whatever you're doing, it works. You moved between 4 of us like we were standing still. Laurent walks over to Van Damme, extends his hand. I was wrong, you're not qualified for this job. He pauses, sees Van Damme's face start to change. then continues, "You're overqualified. You should be training security teams, not working as entry-level protection." Van Damme shakes his hand. "I need the job. I need the money. I train at night, fight in underground tournaments on weekends. This pays better than construction work and lets me keep my face intact during the week." Underground tournaments. Laurent's professional interest is piqued. Full contact, minimal rules, continues until knockout or submission. "I've fought 23 times, won 21. What happened in the 2 losses?" Thomas asks, finally getting up from the floor. "First loss, I was 18. Thought I knew everything. Got submitted by a Brazilian fighter who knew ground game better than me. Second loss, I was 20. Took a fight 3 days after breaking 2 ribs in training. Got kicked in the exact spot. Couldn't continue. Both losses taught me more than 21 wins." Victor descends from the staircase, clearly pleased. "So, Laurent, do we have consensus?" Jean-Claude joins the team. Laurent nods, with one condition. "Jean-Claude, you teach us. Whatever techniques you used just now, whatever training methods give you that speed and awareness, we're professionals. We should always be learning. You teach us. We teach you our protocols and procedures. Everyone gets better." Van Damme considers this, then nods. "Fair. I can do that." For the next 6 months, Van Damme works as part of Victor's security team. During the day, he learns professional protection work, threat assessment, secure driving, emergency medicine, crisis communication. Laurent and his team teach Van Damme everything they know about real-world security. At night, 3 times a week, Van Damme teaches them how to move efficiently, how to generate power from short distance, how to defend against multiple attackers using angles instead of strength, how to stay loose under pressure. The team's effectiveness increases measurably. 2 incidents during those 6 months require physical intervention. Both are resolved in under 10 seconds, with no injuries to the principal and minimal force required. In May 1984, Van Damme gets an opportunity to go to America. Film work possibility. Small role, but a chance to break into Hollywood. He gives Victor 2 weeks' notice. Laurent throws a going-away dinner. Tells stories about the day Van Damme walked into the mansion, wearing a leather jacket and looking like he should be dancing in clubs, not protecting VIP. "We judged you," Laurent says, glass of wine in hand, speaking to a room full of security professionals who've come to respect Van Damme. "We saw a small guy who did ballet and assumed you couldn't do the job. You proved us wrong in 19 seconds. Then you spent 6 months making all of us better at our jobs. You're going to be successful in America, whatever you do, because you don't just talk, you prove it, and then you help others improve. That's leadership." 10 years later, Van Damme is an action movie star. 20 years later, he's a legend, but he tells interviewers about the bodyguard job, about Laurent and Bernard and Michel and Thomas, about the day 4 professionals tested him and learned that assumptions are dangerous. Laurent retired from security work in 1995, opened a training facility in Brussels that teaches protective services. On the wall of his office hangs a framed photograph from November 9. 5 men standing in a mansion entrance hall. Laurent, Bernard, Michel, Thomas, and a very young Jean-Claude Van Damme. Under the photo, a caption: "The day we learned that the most dangerous person in the room is the one you underestimated." That's the legacy of those 19 seconds. Not the techniques, not the demonstration of skill, but what came after. The mutual respect, the exchange of knowledge, the understanding that size and experience matter less than adaptability, awareness, and the willingness to learn from anyone who has something real to teach.